Hello, beautiful people. It's Mai here from Nintendo Life. And guess what? I'm not alone. I have a lovely Alex with me here today. Hiya.
Hello. Hi.
How's it going? Are we ready to talk about some Final Fantasy VII Remake?
Indeed, yeah. I mean, well, I would say I've been playing it to death. That's not really true. I've had a lot going on, but I've played a fair old chunk of the full game. Not just the demo, not just what everyone else has been playing, but a good old chunk. And I'm going to be playing more. Just you wait. I just want to get, sort of expectations in check because I haven't completed the game. But to be honest, I think what most people are concerned about is performance on Switch 2. Mm-hmm. Because, I mean, people I'm sure have played the demo, but, is that just the demo? Is the demo amazing and everything else falls apart? Mai, have you got some questions for me?
Well, I mean, have you, first of all, is this the only console you've played it on, or have you tried it on others?
No, I've only played it on Switch 2, so I'm, not only underqualified to talk about it compared to other systems, but also I will have a slightly blinkered view. But I suppose you could argue, if you've never played it before, what's it like as a first-hand experience? And honestly, it's bloody good. Bloody good. Like, we all played the demo and everything like that, and it was like, wow, that's amazing. But then you get into like the more open areas, but sort of like in the slums and stuff like that. And it just doesn't let up. Like, yeah, I've seen the odd frame drop here and there, nothing major by any means. But the sort of the nub of the matter is it just plays well. But, things like the cutscenes, obviously the pre-rendered ones are pre-rendered, but the non-pre-rendered cutscenes, the in-engine ones, are just stunning. Like, they're using the highest quality models in these instances, and it is probably, certainly from a third party, I would say the best looking Switch 2 game thus far. Like, we've had the likes like Cyberpunk looks amazing, don't get me wrong, but this is a smaller, it's not really, Cyberpunk is very open world, very sort of like big, wide, wow! That is not the case with Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade. That's the first time we said the full title, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's a much sort of, it's a more linear, sort of tighter experience compared to something like Cyberpunk. And as a result, you can squeeze a lot more out if you know what you're doing. And clearly, Square Enix know what they're doing, because it is, it's just superb. In a way, I sort of feel like, if you haven't played the demo, play the demo, and that will give you a good idea of what you've got to look forward to.
The demo is great. Like, I played the demo over Christmas, and I just fell in love because it's funny because I played the demo back on PS4, I think, back in the day, and so it'd been a while since I'd played it. So playing it on the Switch too, I wholeheartedly agree. It looks absolutely gorgeous, plays lovely, and I'm still very relieved that, as much as I love a turn-based RPG, I love that they stepped more into the real-time combat, like with Final Fantasy 15, because this girl loves Final Fantasy 15. I do. And I know many Final Fantasy 7 purists are probably clutching their pearls at that, but it's just, it's such a gorgeous looking game, and just, I could go on about just the demo alone, But yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, to be honest, the demo gives you obviously a good idea of the game if you're not familiar with the remake. But, it definitely starts evolving as you go beyond, the first chapter and things like that. Fun fact, one of the characters, Wedge, he's in the demo as well, incidentally named after Star Wars, a minor character, so that's a bit of fun for you, is played by Badger from Breaking Bad. As soon as I heard the voice, I was like, I know who that is, or at least I recognized it. I didn't know it was Badger. Great fun. Really enjoyed that. Because the voice acting is also really good, I would say, in this game. I definitely understand why it has been a bit divisive, because I've not played the original, but I understand that obviously there is a distinctly an aesthetic about it. And some of the original aesthetic is lost. But it's come with a different aesthetic. And I think it still really works as a different thing. But there's definitely a moodiness in the original that you don't get. And already, I knew that there were some people who were not especially happy with the way that Sephiroth was handled in this game. Already, I can immediately agree. I don't know much about Sephiroth, but he doesn't strike me as very imposing at the moment. The fact that he seems to be showing up all the damn time. But yeah, that aside, it is a very, very good game. It is a very good game, and I think it is perfectly at home on Switch too.
I mean, being able to actually play it on the go, that's something that's a big bonus for me, considering it's just been stuck to home console, like proper, like static home console, I should probably say. I think what I'm really excited for, because I mean, in case you didn't know, this Switch game, and just the first of the Final Fantasy remakes, is only the first part of Midgar as well, so it's not like the full game either.
No. It's obviously I haven't sort of reached that point, having not completed it and not being familiar with the original. It doesn't scream that at any point. It doesn't scream this is only the first third of the game, but it does certainly feel that certain areas, they feel a bit stretched, even sort of without knowing that. You can definitely feel that there are certain areas where it's just been kind of spread a little bit thin. It's not too bad, and certainly by modern standards, it's nothing unusual that you wouldn't expect to see in other games of a similar nature. But it is, just from a, objective, I play a lot of games point of view, there are instances where it sort of feels like this sequence feels like it could have been half the length. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I think, comparing it to the original game, that section is very short in comparison to the rest of the game. So I'm personally pleased that they've made it much longer, to about 30 hours, I think. I do hope in the future that they have, with the second half and everything, they do some sort of combined. I still can't believe they've managed to put it onto one cartridge. Anyway, is it a game key or is it is it on the cartridge? Can you tell me? Do you know?
I can double check, but unfortunately, I'm fairly certain it's a game key card.
I mean, I know that when it came out,
downloading it was 90 gig. So.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, that doesn't surprise me, considering when it was on PlayStation.
Yes, a game
2
key
Blu-ray
card.
discs. Oh.
Neither one of us are fans of those. I mean, admittedly, this is a larger game. It's like 90 something gigabytes when I downloaded it. So it is a chuffing honker, to say the least, or a huffing chonker if you prefer. But even then, it would be nice. I don't know whether they could find a way around it or something like that. I mean, what I'd love, 2 little cartridges. Oh. That'd be great, but that is probably getting a little bit unreasonable to try and demand that. But even then, it would have been nice if it had been proper physical, especially considering, it's the first time it's coming to a proper handheld. Obviously, I know you could, play it on Steam Deck. No idea how well it ran on Steam Deck or anything like that, but, Steam Deck is as Steam Deck does. Mm-hmm. But it is, in terms of a visual showcase, bafflingly good. I know from, the fact that it's the Integrate version, and our good friends at Digital Foundry have already pointed out that it is using a more complex lighting system than even the PS4 original. And, the PS4 original was no slouch. So it really is unbelievably impressive. It's almost so impressive that there's not that much to say about it. Because it's well, how does it look? How does it run? Really well. Oh, yeah? Yeah. Okay. I mean, it's 30 frames a second, but to be honest, given the scope of the game and the visuals, asking for 60, I think is just, kind of asking too much, to be honest. It still plays perfectly well at 30. Obviously, action-based combat and stuff like that, but it's not super reactionary or anything like that, because the enemy attacks I've found are sometimes a little bit too short. So you can start attacking, they can start attacking, and you don't have enough time to dodge out of the way. Maybe I need to do more planning. Maybe that's a me issue.
Is there anything that, I mean, I know you said that you haven't played the original, but is there anything that from playing the new version of the game, the remake, what players should expect having them played the original. I mean, I know one thing that I've thought was really interesting was almost like a Fallout VAT style system where they had a slowdown menu, which was interesting.
Yeah, so it almost... Yeah, as you say, VATS, I think, is the closest comparison. It's for doing special attacks and things like that, and commanding your teammates and things like that as well. It's a really good way around it, because at the end of the day, you don't want to be going through systems, menus on the fly. It's, at real-time speed, because it's, whilst it might be all right for you and me, at the end of the day, it comes from turn-based roots. And so I think it's important to acknowledge that with this kind of, VAT-style system. And I think it's reasonably elegantly done. It also means it allows you to have a bit of a breather, but at the same time doesn't allow you to just, slow down absolutely everything you do, because you're going to be going through a menu, you're going to be doing a lot of, combos and stuff like that, and that's outside that system entirely. There's also the different, modes, the different abilities that characters have, and Cloud can switch between 2 different modes. That took me a while to get used to, but when you do, and you start pulling it off, very, very satisfying. No idea if that was in the original. There's, operator mode. Does that ring any bells, Mai?
Oh, it's been years. I think it's...
It might have been called something else in Spanish.
I honestly can't remember in the PlayStation Classic version that I have whether or not it had different modes. It's been a very long time. Very long time since I played it.
Let us know in the comments whether that was something in the original, because apparently I'm too ignorant and Mai's too forgetful. What a pair we make. But the long and short of it is it's a really good game. It's not without its flaws by any stretch of the imagination, but I think it's a really, really solid effort, and I know that Rebirth is even more taxing, because I'm fairly certain that wasn't released on PS4. Well, not only, but yeah, certainly not PS4. So it's going to be really interesting to see if they bring that to Switch too, because I think that will be even more challenging. But at the same time, this isn't Final Fantasy VII Remake. This is Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade. This is the PS5 version running on Switch 2. So I think it's entirely possible that we'll see Rebirth. Be able to carry on the story. It'd be a shame if only the first part was stuck on Switch 2 and nothing else came to it. Whenever we get the third part, that as well would be even nicer. Or as nice, I don't know. But that
It'll be very nice. Very nice. So, you've had a lot of positive things to say about the game. In your opinion, where do you think it needs a little bit of work, or what bits just didn't really quite land with you?
Well, I don't want to go too much into things like pacing and stuff like that, because I don't think it's fair. I haven't played enough of the game to be able to discuss it in that. It's just as well I didn't review it, isn't it? Because, lordy, I've had a lot on. But I will say that from a visual standpoint, there are certain instances, the main thing that everyone's going to be looking at is Cloud's hair. Cloud's hair, there's some sort of in fact, it's even mentioned in the review, it almost looks a bit like dithering. It's not, from my understanding, it's, as mentioned in the review, something to do with sub-pixel processing or something like that. I'm not an expert, so do not take that at face value. But the fact of the matter is, it makes his hair look a bit dithered in certain instances around the edges. This is something that's really common with upscaling in this way, and DLSS and all that sort of thing. It happens all the time. I would say that's the only real pitfall. I haven't even noticed any noticeable boiling, as it's called, on lights, which is where lights sort of seem like they're sort of changing size and intensity because of the way that the scaler is getting sort of minimal information, and then it's trying to blow it up, so it sort of looks a bit like it's boiling, sort of almost like whoa, 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 like that. I've not noticed any significant of that, but admittedly, I haven't been going out of my way to look for it. I've been enjoying the game, so I think that's and as having never played Final Fantasy VII before, I'm really pleased that I'm enjoying it, because you know what it's like when people keep saying, you must play this game, and then you play the game and you're like, But I'm not getting that though thus far.
I think what I'm slightly jealous of, if you never played Final Fantasy VII game before, or really any Final Fantasy as far as I'm aware.
Whoa. I'm big on Final Fantasy Tactics. Crystal Chronicles is my bag.
Okay.
Also, I played Final Fantasy 3 to death on DS.
Oh,
DS
okay. Okay, so you're still a little bit of a veteran then in that case. But saying that, like, I do have some jealousy. Like, being able to play Final Fantasy VII, granted a remake. In fact, even more jealousy being able to play, some might say a superior version of the game. I don't know. I personally wouldn't say, because they're both two different sides of the same coin. But
they're quite different. They're quite different from my understanding.
But I'm also, like, somewhat jealous, because I would love to be able to relive playing Final Fantasy VII all the way, like brand new again. So being able to play the remake as a new player of Final Fantasy VII, like, definitely a little bit jealous. Not gonna lie.
Well, who knows? Maybe there'll be a game that comes along where you're not familiar with the original, and I am, and we can have this conversation again, but in reverse. Well, I mean, coming from someone who has played the original, I know you haven't played the full game, but you played the demo. How do you feel about it?
Oh, I fell in love, like, straight away. I mean, I could go on and on, much like yourself, say, like, all the really great positive things about it. I touched on it earlier about how much I have such a great love for Final Fantasy 15, although so many people I've spoken to aren't really a huge fan of that game. I personally loved it, but I loved the fact that it gave it a new breath of life, the demo, with the remake, compared to the original game. And I think it also helped that I was on Christmas holidays, so I was able to kind of fully invest myself in the demo. Granted, it's not like crazy long. And I don't know, compared to the original Final Fantasy VII, I really felt like it is pretty much like a new game in general. It might be because, like, they finally have the voice acting rather than having the little text box. The graphics themselves look absolutely gorgeous. I love the new art style as well. Again, Square Enix just being on top with just their JRPGs. They're just so beautiful. This is when I go completely just making noises and how excited I am about Final Fantasy. But yeah, and I think it was almost like meeting these characters again for the first time, which really just touched my heart. Because other experiences I've had with characters like Sephiroth, again, I haven't experienced him because he's not in the demo yet. First time I met them was in places
he's almost in the demo.
Almost! Was like when I'm playing Kingdom Hearts back in the day, because obviously it was like Final Fantasy mixed with Disney. So a lot of these characters that have shown up in places like Kingdom Hearts, I get to kind of meet them again proper in the demo. I love the whole slow-mo VAT style menu. Granted, I didn't really use it as much when I was playing the demo because I was too busy hacking and slashing everything. And the ability to be able to swap between characters, I thought was really, again, very much like Final Fantasy 15 in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the boss fights, actually. So, I forget what the mech is called when the timer's going down. You have like the big scorpion style.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, being able to like stagger them.
Yeah,
The tactics in that I thought were really smart. Because again, it's not a turn-based strategy game anymore. It's not turn-based style. It's all in like real-time mode, which... yeah, I don't know, it just made me feel a lot more active within it rather than having to sit back and be like, okay, what should I do? Okay, yeah, I'll use a little bit of magic, I'll do this. Whereas this time round, I could either go with slow-mo or I could be like, no, I'm just going to go hack and slash. I'm going to quickly go in and use some electricity. I'm going to go in and use some fire magic, anything like that. So being able to utilize your party members as well a little bit more actively.
Yeah.
Buzzing.
Although, I will say... I think it's just due to the fact that it is not a shooter game. But I found controlling Barrett to be a little bit clunky, unfortunately.
Chaotic. Yeah.
Yeah, well, not even chaotic. He just sort of... I think it's just more the aiming. The aiming's a bit sort of like a little bit slow, and you lock on and you're shooting it. You just I don't feel like I get a lot of feedback, annoyingly, which is a shame because I think it would, like, I really like the idea of his moveset, but it just doesn't quite, it feels like they spent loads of time with Cloud, but not as much time on the others, which makes sense. Cloud is going to be the character you're playing, I imagine, 85% of the time. And just, maybe that's wrong. As I say, still haven't finished it.
He's a big guy, though. He's a big guy, though, Barrett. So, of course, he's going to be a little bit sluggish and a bit...
Yeah, no. It's not, it's not his movements. It's the way he controls.
Okay.
Even if there was sort of like a bit of... sort of weight, a little bit of inertia to his movements. But it feels like there's inertia on the aiming, and it's not quite lined up. It's just little things. But it's something that I find you go from playing like a really good like shooter, and then you go and play something that has a game that has shooting mechanics. Something like, especially like Grand Theft Auto, like 4 especially, the gunplay in that is terrible. And it's one of the like primary combat features, but it's not a shooter game, so they don't focus their efforts on that as much. That, I would say, is my biggest criticism, and it's not a big one. But wait until I finish the game. I'm sure I'll have some more.
Give you all the inside scoop.
Oh, yeah.
I do love the character development as well, from what I saw in the demo so far. I didn't realize how much of a, let's just, to put a bit more PG, not very polite person Barrett was to Cloud. I know he's a Mark, but still, polite. He's horrible. He's like, come on, hurry up here, Mark. Come on. Sword for hire. It's like, okay, you could just be a little bit nicer. I know you're in a bit of a time crunch, but geez, at least the others are nice to Cloud. Oh, but yeah, it's like, come on, pretty boy.
I quite like him as a result of that, because I think I have a lot of similar feelings about Cloud that Barrett does. Like, come on, pretty boy, let's see what you can do. Admittedly, he can do a lot, I don't want to downplay, Cloud's skills and stuff like that, and he's really fun to control. But, just from the outside looking in, particularly in Smash, I have a real bugbear against Cloud in Smash, because his sword is too big, and I play as big characters, broadly speaking, Ridley. So I end up at a significant disadvantage, and his up B is just irritating. But that's enough about me and a completely unrelated game.
Final Fantasy. I spoke about Kingdom Hearts, so
that's still more related, I feel.
All right. Well, we've had a little bit of waffling, but good waffling on Final Fantasy VII Remake. I reckon that everyone's going to really enjoy it, those fellow JRPG fans. But let us know what you think in the comments below. Have you played the demo? Are you going to have a go at the game? I recommend you do, because otherwise I will have to be very upset with you, because JRPGs. Thank you,
you better do
everyone.
as she says. You don't want to see my angry. It's woof.
Angry Scottish woman. Again, thank you everyone so much for watching. Don't forget to like that video and go check out Nintendo Life for lots of lovely other Nintendo bits. In the meantime, have a good one. Bye.